start.
I'm ready.
Eric, it's over to you. You're the chairman.
Do you have the spiel ready, Eric?
Boss.
Oh, the spiel. Welcome
Yeah.
to Apropos. I need to rewrite this because we're totally different now. Welcome to Apropos Closure. We're now on Discord. We're going to chat, have some closure news, our opinions on them, and also we'll jump into the REPL if we have some time at the end. So if you're catching this later on YouTube, it's been recorded, but you can always join the Discord. Just look for it in the show notes, in the description of the YouTube video, and you can catch it live. We talk, we chat, and that's how you get to participate.
Can I just add as well, Eric, that there's like now over 100 members on the Discord server.
So woohoo!
Quite a community,
yeah.
Actually. It's building up, you know?
Yeah.
They love us. They love us.
That's the like the regular Closurians Discord server, or is it the one for Apropos, or
the one for Apropos,
both? Or?
Yeah, the one for Apropos. Just Apropos.
Oh, wow. Okay. I don't understand Discord yet. I'm trying to understand it.
Same. I don't get it either.
Yeah.
Oh, you're new to it as well?
Yeah.
There's a lot of notifications.
It's a whole bunch of private servers all on the internet doing probably horrible things, but in our case, something pretty good, I hope.
I would agree.
So let me introduce our panel today. Today we have Mike.
Hello.
Ray.
Hello.
I'm Eric. And we have a special guest as well. We have Chris.
Hey, yo.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
What's up?
How you doing?
Cool. And Chris is here because he is going to talk about a project he's been working on.
Yeah.
Shall we jump right in?
Let's just jump right in.
All right.
If that's okay with you, Chris.
Chris is like, what? I wasn't ready.
Oh my God.
Well, okay, so I'm kind of ready. I didn't know exactly how or like I didn't know what you guys would find interesting. So I have like examples, and I kind of want to ask you guys what would be a better focus. So
Yeah.
let me, I guess, start sharing my screen.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, I'll do
Okay.
Okay, can you guys see? You guys see this?
Yes.
Okay.
I can.
Yep. So if
should I
you
zoom in?
if you're in the chat, you have to click watch stream to be able to see it.
Yeah.
Does the font size look good, or should I zoom in a little bit more?
I think it looks good.
Looks fine. to
Okay.
me, yeah.
Fine here.
So yeah, let me just get into some of the examples. So I put together a bunch of examples of how you can use Portal. One for Babashka, JVM closure, node closure, and then web closure. So of those, which ones kind of sound the most interesting?
Let's just go through them all. Come on.
Let's go through them all. Okay. Well,
Okay.
I think let's start with the JVM one. I feel like that's probably the most popular. Okay. In the JVM example, I have two ways to do it. One with depths and one with project. It's kind of very similar, but I'll just show those, right? And this is
Okay.
kind of like a minimal project, right? So you just bring it in, I probably via profile, right? You add a dev path, and you add the actual dependency. And then this is going to be like a demo HTTP server, right? This is what this project is going to be. Likewise for Depths Eden. And if you guys need me to slow down, let me know. Right? We're going to have a dev alias with, adding dev, add the dependency. So is that all kosher? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So what I'm going to do is I'll do the closure one first. So I'll start a closure REPL like this. Right, and so this is what kind of Portal looks like. Let me zoom in a little bit. So this is it. And what you'll see is I started a server.
We'll see you later, Chris. Okay.
Let me go into examples, JVM, SRC.
So did that just pop up in a web browser? Is that the thing on the right?
Yes. So
yes. Okay.
yeah, this is a Chrome. If you can see that up there, it's Chrome, but it's like an app mode.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is kind of a little bit nicer, just so that it's making it easier to use, right?
Oh, I've never seen this. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So this is the username space. That's why when I started the REPL, it kind of ran this code. I normally wouldn't open up Portal if it was like a project, like a shared project, but for this demo, I just went ahead and opened it. So, but normally you would have to manually open it just because it'd be weird to open it up for people if they didn't want it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is kind of what my user namespace looks like. I pull in my example HTTP handler. I have this like go function that starts the project, which I also started. So over here on port 3000, you'll see that if I refresh, right, this is the handler set up via ring to serve up hello world, right? But what that did is in the handler, and if I need to slow down, you guys let me.
Yeah, you are
So
pretty fast, but that's cool. We're hanging with you.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll,
So
we'll
this
ask
is-
if we get by.
Okay. This is my handler right here. All it does is it returns hello world, but before it does that, it taps out what the request looks like. And so because of that, if you go into Portal, you'll see it's kind of a little. I don't know if I need to be zoomed in that much, but you'll see the two HTTP requests that were actually made. One of them was / and the other one was for the favicon. That always happens, right?
So just to slow you down a bit, on the right-hand side, we're seeing the request hash map being displayed in Portal, and these are different ones that went through different requests.
Yes, exactly.
And okay, so I have a question too, which is a very basic one. The fact that you're using a ring application is just the application you just chose to illustrate. You could be plugging Portal into any application. This is just the. Okay, I got you. Yeah.
I was just like, I was thinking about like, what are common usages that people would have? And this is like a common thing I do on the daily where I'm like, let me just tap this out in this certain place so I can see what data is available there.
Right. And so normally you would
like
like
a
put
lot
a print line or something, and you get this
Exactly,
huge dump into the terminal.
So
Yeah,
that's the
okay.
So
difference
that's-
here, Chris, that like with println you're getting a string, but with tap you're getting the data. Is that the general idea?
Yes, yeah. With tap, it's like much more rich.
Does that? So I'm just imagining. Like I was like, what is that headers thing with the 13? But now I'm thinking.
Okay.
I'm looking at the
up
right.
here?
Yeah.
Yes.
That must mean it's 13 keys and values in there.
Yes, it's a map. This is an abbreviated look of the actual. Because I don't want to show you too much at once. But you'll actually see right there's two HTTP requests, and I can go into one of them. So I'll go into the first one, right? And now you're kind of
wait. What'd you do? How'd you do that?
I
Did you
just
click
clicked it. Yeah, you see
I
how
didn't see
there's
your
a highlight
mouse.
over that? Yeah, so my mouse is here and I'm hovering over it, and
We're
you
not
can kind of
seeing
see
your
that there's a
mouse on the
border.
UI.
Can't
Yeah.
see your
Right,
mouse.
we
don't
see your
Oh,
mouse.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Can you see me focus on it like that? Is there?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So another way to actually nav into it is to tab to it, which is a pretty common thing on the web, right? To tap to something and then click enter, and you'll nav into it, right? But so now we focused on the actual that specific request, right?
Okay.
And so now we can see more of the headers, because what I tend to do is like one level of recursion. There are other viewers, so I guess I can demo that right now. But there's like this collection viewer, which is kind of a bit weird. It makes sense for collections, but maps are kind of also collections. So when you turn it on, it's a list of pairs now, right? So that one, right? So there's like there's a lot of general purpose viewers which might not make sense in a lot of contexts. I think this is an okay to view this data, but maybe it's not the most intuitive. So I think I would prefer the map. So that's what you're seeing here is the order that I would prefer things in. So map first for a map, then collection, and then there's also this tree viewer, which is kind of cool. I kind of like looking at it this way, which is you can see more of the data at once. But yeah, right. So there's like a bunch of different ways to kind of like it's up to you for how you want to visualize the data. Like these are just a bunch of tools that you have available.
Sure.
Is this based on that? Is it based on the Datify protocol? That stuff that was done with REBL way back in the day? Or is this related to that kind of stuff? Yeah.
So Portal does support Datify and Nav. This isn't because it's already data, right? So I will show examples of that later. Like some of the canonical ones are like files or namespaces or vars. Yeah. So like I'll demo that later if you guys want to see that. But
so what you're saying is if once you tap and you have some data, Portal just renders it. It doesn't care. It doesn't need Datify and
it's a bit interesting how it uses it, but for the most part, Portal cares more about the shape of your data, right? So I'll go back to the map view, right, and I can go in and I can see these. There's also if I'm here though and I'm happy with one of these things, I can kind of Command C, right? And I can be like, okay, I can go Slack this to someone and be like, hey, these were the headers that I got at this point. Maybe this helps you. So that's kind of a new add. But
So
right,
just
I
copy
think
paste.
yes, I just copy pasted. There's like this copy as Eden.
Mm-hmm.
You see that? So what I did there is it's pretty common in like VS Code or other things to do Command Shift P, right? And so what you'll see is this command prompt, and I'll go through some more of these later. But one of them, if you filter by them, is copy as Eden, which is you see is meta C. That's what I just did there.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Okay.
That's nice. Yeah.
So yeah, because I think one of the that's a relatively new thing, but I've often find myself like I'm in Portal and I wanna like take the data and go somewhere else with it, right? And do something else with it. Like, cool, I found the thing and I need to go do something else. So one way to get the data out of Portal is with copy paste, right? There's another way that's kind of more novel, and I don't know if this is going too deep into it, or if you guys want to explore the other projects, but I could go into another way of how you can. Well. Okay. So, this next feature I'm about to demo is novel to Portal, and I think it's pretty cool. But what you'll see in the user namespace is that when I called open, right, I assigned it to a var that's in user namespace called Portal.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what that is right there. So in my namespace, I have access to this var called Portal, and I can deref it. So does what I did just make sense?
Oh, so whatever you're looking at on the right-hand side, you can just deref and get that.
Yeah, get it back. Get it back into your.
Yeah, so focus on something else in the portal, and let's see.
I'll focus on like this URL. Oh, it actually opened it up. Let me close that. It clicked it because it was like, okay, and I'll deref it again.
Boom! Look at that.
All right.
That's cool.
So this is something that I added a little bit back, but not too long ago. That I feel like this is a really nice way to interact with Portal, which is like once you get data in it and you explore it, and you're like, I want to go into here. Sure. Bam.
Makes sense because Portal is like a pointer to data, right? And you just deref it and get it.
Yeah. Exactly. But you can do cooler thing, right? You can do it's actual data. So I can go Portal, like, what is the count? It's 14, which is good because that's what it says down here. So at least it's consistent. Or I could call keys, right? KEYS, and get the keys. All right, and I can kind of go back and forth between my REBL and my Portal, and just like the data just flows back and forth, and it's seamless.
What do you mean go back and forth? So does that mean you would have to tap that? You would tap the keys.
So there's another because it implements Atom.
Oh, you can swap it.
Swap.
Don't do it.
Oh, look at that. Okay.
Now it's just the keys. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, but it acts the same way as nav does, kind of. It just pushes it on the history stack. So if I go back, I'm back to where I was. Right. So it's kind of like, hopefully it's intuitive. I don't know if it's super intuitive. I'm still experimenting with that UX, but yeah, I can do all types of swaps. I can do vals, right? Which it does what I expect. It takes the vals from the map and focuses that. So I think this is a really cool way to use Portal to kind of just treat it as an atom. Okay, so and the other way to also do that is that I did add in this command menu right here keys and vals, so it'll do the same thing, right? But this is doing it in ClojureScript in Portal, but it's the same, like it's semantically the same, so it's like
Eden.
That one will,
yeah, exactly.
I guess the one on the right, it won't change the atom, or does it change the atom?
No, it does. Yeah, okay. So it should be consistent, right? So I did a key, I called keys in Portal over here via the command menu, which it's gone now. But if I go back and do it again, keys, it's there, and then it's here as well. So it should always be in sync. Like this isn't a real atom. I went and I implemented all the interfaces for it to actually call Portal and do the things.
Right.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah, I've kind of really enjoyed that way of using Portal, just because sometimes, right, I get to the end and I'm like, well, now what?
Can you edit like a string in Portal?
Not yet directly, just because I haven't figured out exactly how I want to do edit, because I do want to, and I think some people have asked like on Slack if I wanted to support edit, and I do. I just don't know how to yet. But I mean, you can edit, like if I come over here and I select this keyword. This is the extent of my editing abilities, right? Name. So you can edit that way,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
just take a certain number of characters. So it's a bit more programmatic. In the future, though, I could conceivably see myself doing like, you come over here and you delete these, and then you're good to go, right?
Right.
Okay. So that's kind of like a lot of information. Is there any questions around what I've done?
You mentioned ClojureScript is the thing on the right running Clojure. You're basically, well, let's see. I'm trying to understand what's really going on here. The thing on the right is running a ClojureScript process inside there.
Yes.
You said this is Chrome.
Yeah.
So
if I go
it's
inspect,
like a view into your JVM. Is that kind of what?
Yeah, I would say that's a very good way to think about what it is. Yeah. If you, I can show you the implementation details if you guys are curious. But so
I'm a little curious, just to kind of grok it.
Yeah. So I opened up the Chrome inspector for this portal window right here, right? And what you'll see is if I'll come over here and refresh it, and you'll see this like RPC web. It's doing it over WebSockets, right? But as I interact with it, you can see that it's communicating with the host process. So there's two parts, right? There's Yes, it is transit, which is a great thing, but also I've hit a bunch like some edge cases. So it's great except for metadata. Actually, that's what really gets you with transit is metadata. But other than that, it's like it works really well. It's very performant. But yeah, it's transit over WebSockets, which I think a lot of people tend to end up doing. But yeah, what you're seeing is I'm calling nav on nav, which I don't know if you want to get too much into the implementation details, but that is how it's kind of effectively working. Is I'm sending requests to the host process that kind of look like maps that have an RPC command, and then because it's over WebSockets, I give it every request response has an ID. So that's kind of like high level what the protocol looks like. But yeah, this is just a reagent app.
Okay. And then inside your JVM, you have a thing that represents the state, or this portal thing that you're dereferencing is a var inside your JVM closure side?
Yes. Like the tap state is all server side. If I refresh, right, we go back to the root of the tap state, which is right all of these requests. But yeah, I can go into more details later about exactly how it's implemented. But effectively, that's how it is. It's that there's some runtime code that hosts like an RPC API for the portal UI. Right. So a kind of nice thing I like to do is like we end up tapping out a lot of maps. So I'll just demo this really quickly. If you have a list of maps, I can actually take that and put it into a table. Right. That's a pretty common thing. Right.
That's nice.
Yeah. But then like maybe, and you'll see is the headers are sticky, which is kind of nice. That's something that I added recently-ish, as are the like leftmost column. Right. But like there's this thing here that I don't want to see. Right. What I really want to care about, if I select the columns, what I really care about is I want to see the protocol, maybe the content type, the URI, the scheme, request method. Nice. There we go.
Oh man.
Right. So now
good job.
I have. Yeah. I have this pane where I constantly just want to see like a subset of it. And again, what's really cool, right? If I come over here, I can do copy as Eden, right? And I'll go into Vim and there it is, right? Exactly what you see is exactly what you get.
Nice.
And it's connected to my JVM process. So if Portal doesn't do anything, that's fine. You come over here, you're like, I'm going to have a great day. I'm going to do map protocol over... I didn't spell that correctly or no?
Mape.
You misspelled map. Yeah.
Okay. I'll do URI because that's shorter. There we go. There we go. Right?
Okay.
So it's like this like back and forth that you have with this portal window. So.
It'd be cool. I mean, I know that this is awesome already. Okay, so it would also be cool if you had, I don't know. I'm thinking about the REPL in the portal.
Yeah. So I'm actually, and this is like future things I'm thinking about. I do want to add a REPL to Portal, but I want to do it kind of like I want to add an Xterm emulator, and then you connect. You connect via how you want to your REPL, whether it's line or maybe you want to use REBL read line or however you want. And then you get like because like the the REPL is a very like rich thing. It's not just there's like Control L, there's like autocomplete, right? There's like a lot of things that these REPLs implement that I don't want to have to implement. So I would rather bring in
sure.
a terminal emulator, and there is a branch that has that, but I've implemented it. I just don't know how I want to incorporate it into the rest of everything.
Yeah, I'm just imagining, how to. It's like I said, it's awesome, but the loop between just like dereffing a single thing out of there, it to me is, it could be richer. There could be some other thing that you could do. I'm just thinking like in the case of something like a data science or something where you're like, you read in the CSV, you tap it, and now you're in like Excel and you're moving stuff around like in Excel. And somehow you don't just get the data back, you also get like the program that would generate that data from the CSV. Do you know what I mean? So like instead of just
like your REPL history, you mean?
Like a REPL history, like you actually were generating REPL commands. Like, so for instance, you have a thing where you get to select the keys to show in the table. Well, could that generate the select keys line? Right? That, the code for select keys.
Yeah. So,
and then you go ahead.
Oh, so there is this thing that I'm currently, so if I like go back over here to the root and let me go back into the map view or the collection view, and if I click through it, let me go to map view here and I like go here, there's this copy path, right? And so what you'll get is like a path. I think that's, I don't know if you saw it, it's 0 headers, right? That's what the actual path was. Because it was the 0th element in the tap list, and then also I went to the headers. But I think what I'm seeing or what I'm hearing is it'd be really cool if I could export a program based on my interaction, potentially. That's right.
You could hit record, and all the stuff that you can do in there looks like it's just calling closure functions, right?
And there is select keys as well, right? So select keys lets me go
there
through.
It is. Yeah.
Right, and you're right. That is a closure function, so I might as well be able to. I think that is possible to just generate a program for you based on your interaction and usage of it. So that would be cool. I think that's definitely something I'm going to explore more in the future.
That's cool, and you could even show it like in the bottom or in the side panel. Like, here's the program you're generating. And then you could like delete a line from it and it'll show you the results of that applied to the, I'm just playing UX,
No, I think that's super important actually, because
All right, I have a question now. So you've got this value in there by tapping it in. Yes. What if you just had a value that you typed into your REPL on the left, some sort of like a map or a collection? Can you shove that into this thing to view it? Yeah, like hello world, just that little map there. Can you somehow get that into Portal?
Yeah, there's 2 ways to do that. One is to swap it into the Portal atom, or I guess reset.
Or just reset it? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so this is like one way to kind of just wherever you are, it doesn't matter, reset it. Bam.
Okay. Yeah.
The other way is if you go to the root, which I have that, like history first will take you to the root, or shift meta L. So if I go all the way to the left, it go all the way to this is the like tap list. I can then over here, you'll see when I tap one, it'll show up, right? It popped up right there.
Oh, okay.
And then I can go swap, Portal, ink, right? It's like I'm just going back and forth, kind of looking at this data. So
when you swap Portal ink, it it obviously changed over here on the right. But if you hit the back button, oh, I see.
It's got
so it remembers
the entire
history. I see.
Yeah. You can think of it as like pushing it on the stack, and that's just because I didn't know what to do. So I was like, I'll do this for now, and if I find a better way, I'll replace it. But I think this is good enough for now.
Because what it feels to me like.
Apart from like the data thing, I mean, it's a lot. It's like, what did the Romans ever do for us? What did tap ever do for us? It gives us the data, and in your thing you have the history. Is that right? So you can sort of, if you have like, let's say you run this request. Say you run this request, but you make a change to the program. So now you're fixing a bug or something like that. How do you like check between invocations? That the data from invocation 1 was like this, and then invocation 2 was like that. And can you do a diff, for example?
Okay, so yes, and this is where I think I might open up my like example data, which can I actually grab? I can't grab it from here. I can go into the there is an ability to diff. So let me just do a small example. So I let you diff vector pair, or yeah, the vector pair. So if I have a key that's like hello, or let's do A1, that's shorter. I can't type beat, or A2. There we go. All right, so if I tap that out,
you have to close the thing.
Close
yeah.
brain. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have this vector pair, and I do have a diff viewer. So you'll be able to see that in this map, A used to be 1 and now it's 2, because the position is like the past was before and the future is the second one, right?
Yeah.
So is that kind of what you were getting at? Like,
Yeah,
is there
perfect.
ability to kind of compare
really
data?
good. Yeah.
And so yeah, this is using the Lambda Island. What is that what it's called? I think it's
Lambda Island,
they have this. I was just like, oh, this is perfect. This is exactly what I want. Oh yeah, Lambda Island Deep Diff 2. I just use that. And yeah, and then you could go into it, and you could just keep nabbing through it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to grok the big picture here, and if you think about just simple REPLs that are just textual, you evaluate the form out, PRN, whatever, you get it in your terminal, and then we invented pretty printing, and that looks nicer at formats, and and it feels like this is more like something that's more tangible, like it displays it in a UI, the same data, and you can interact with that data. It's kind of like it feels to me like a continuation of that theme of like making the data easier to see, but now also more manipulatable, where it's like a graphical view upon your data that you can.
Yeah, because I think we in the Clojure community we're always talking about how everything is data. Well, like if everything is data, let's just make a UI for it so we could keep having our fun, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
There is one more feature, which is I think, which I haven't demoed this yet. There's like the ability to kind of filter, which is kind of cool. I like this sometimes for filtering through big things, right? But again, it's because I have the data parsed, right? It's just a list of maps I can write code that just traverses through data structures, filters it, and does things. So yeah. So that's the JVM one.
Okay,
is there direction?
I'm interested in the Clojure script node thing that I'm presuming you might have. Yeah, because all this was JVM based.
Yeah. So
have you implemented all in Clojure script as well?
Now you're getting on Mike's ground, Chris. So you better be careful.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I did. If does Plonk support WebSockets, or because if it did, I think I could port this to probably Plonk.
No, it doesn't, but it could. It's
okay.
It also supports just straight sockets. But that's how you hook in. You basically have you have a node thing going, and you have a WebSocket inside there, right?
Yes. I just pull in WS from npm, and that's how I host the thing. But okay, so very very similarly to what I did before, right? Actually, let me just show you the project. Right, this is what the deps Eden looks like for it. I'm pulling in Clojure script. I'm pulling same alias dev, and I'm calling Clojure script main with the runtime being node, and I think you have to do this so it runs the CLJS user namespace, and then just saying it's a REPL, and then pulling a portal again, right? So does that make sense?
Yeah, just
so it's
straightforward thing.
Yeah, it's kind of very similar to the JVM process.
So is all your code based on CLJC maybe? So you could just
some of it is.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The IO code is not, but the runtime data structure code is CLJC.
Okay. Cool.
So if I run that, we should see that it'll take a little longer.
Just a quick question as well. Are you using the raw tools, or are you using Shadow as well here?
So I use Shadow to build, and you can see Portal node right there. I use Shadow to build Portal, but I don't require you use Shadow to use Portal. Does that make sense? Yeah. So this is just a pure Clojure script REPL into a node runtime. Yeah. And what you'll see here is, right, I did the same thing. It's an HTTP server, which I can cd into node, and I can open up the server example, right? It's almost the same, except for node has a different API. So, but I do the same thing where I tap the request.
Okay.
So if I go to localhost port 3000 and I click refresh, right, it still works. And here's kind of what it looks like. So with this request object isn't a map like it is in Ring, because the Node ecosystem doesn't have like a version of Ring for a closure script. But I did add a Datify for them. So this is kind of where we can go into the Datify. If I go into the dev namespace and then into user. So in here, you'll see that I have Datify implemented for incoming message. That's what these are. And it's just using this little function I found somewhere that it's like JS to CLJ, but does it more deeply. I don't know exactly how it's different, but
the plus version.
Yeah. I think it's a cheeky thing I found somewhere. But if I go into this one, right, and I click into it, when I nav, I will also datify it, and you'll kind of see like this is what the request roughly looks like. It has kind of a similar shape. Method is get. So it's kind of like a way to, right? Headers looks kind of similar though, right? That's kind of cool. It's almost the same. Right, and I can the portal atom doesn't work in Node, so let's just forget about that.
Okay.
It's because of promises, and I didn't want to deal with that. But other things work though. Like if I come over here and if I go back to the root, and I go tap one, right? This should also, right? Do I have any other things? Do I have the tap the pair? I don't know if I have that, but oh yeah, I do. Here it is. Oh, I made the same mistake again.
Yeah.
Right. So all the same viewers work because that's all on the client side. So I can still do all the same stuff that I was doing before. So there's not much new stuff here, just that it works in Node. So
cool.
Is there any questions about this?
I mean, you're saying it's pretty much the same as the JVM. So that sounds good.
Okay.
Like works the
I
same.
didn't know if anyone wanted to say any Node specific things.
Community, Chris, though, because I don't know, maybe I get the wrong impression, but I get the impression that closure script isn't used on the server side very much. Or are you feeling quite a bit of responsive? Other people responding to this feature?
So I think it's not necessarily used for building like long running servers. I think the JVM dominates there, but I think Lambda is where I see it used a lot, and CLIs. Right. Those are although Babashka is kind of eating into the CLI usage, I still think that Lambda is probably going to be a good use case for a bit for Node and closure script. So
how do you connect with Lambdas then? Is there some way to connect to a Lambda at runtime in Amazon, or is this just the development effort you're talking about now? The development.
Yeah, I think it's the second one. I don't expect you to be connecting to a Lambda because they're going to go up and down. I expect that you have a dev environment locally that lets you like hit the handlers.
Right.
So
you could probably make this work with React Native as well. If you all you really need is the ability to bring up a WebSocket, it seems, and glue your stuff together.
Yeah. Although I mean, I used to have an HTTP RPC endpoint, and I switched to WebSockets because I wanted to do fancier things. But I think it might be possible to have both at the same time and just say, if you have HTTP only, we won't support some of the fancier features. Because for the longest time, it was HTTP and long polling, which worked fine. So I might add that back and just be like, well, now the bar is lower so that other runtimes that only have HTTP but not WebSockets can still work. But yeah, I can.
Can we see the Babashka? I'm really
that is cool. Yeah, let's see that one.
So let me kill the closure script.
This one's going to be the hardest to grok.
Well, so I don't know. It's just a different. It's like closure.
It's a different runtime. Yeah.
Yeah. So the way I have been using it mostly is like I have this script that wraps it, that just calls the closure CLI to get the class path, right? And then calls this portal main guy I have and tells it what the data format is. So this is like CLI usage. That's kind of how I would use it if you need quick startup. So if I have this dep seed, and it's not very big, but it's like example data.
So this
and I cat it to deps.
Based on this new HTTP server that's inside of Babashka now. Which everyone was thinking,
it is.
What's the fucking point? But now you've answered the question.
Yeah.
You ask, you get the answer.
Yeah. Also, I did like ask for the reifying Java interfaces in Babashka was also something I wanted, which is why you can also deref portal in. But like, who would want that? I want that. But yeah, so this is kind of how I would use it, right? It's the same. It's the same thing everywhere, which is a good thing, I think, right? But here's the data that you saw here, but now kind of over here. I don't have REPL because I called main, so.
For what it's worth, I'm no longer seeing updates on your UI.
I don't see.
Like I'm still seeing the node stuff that you showed last.
For sure, me too.
Let me maybe stop sharing.
Yeah, maybe it locked up or.
Share. Stop streaming. Share my screen. Okay. So is it updating?
Yes.
Yes. Now we're seeing it. Thank you. Yeah.
So let me just kill that again. Sorry. I guess. So, did you guys see the script?
No. Like there was like the past 2 or 3 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Everything since Node, we haven't seen the UI. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
So yeah, this is kind of how I like to use Babashka because it's quick to start up, right? It does have nREPL support, right? So if you wanted to use it as like your environment for editing closure code, I think that's perfectly fine. But this is how I tend to use Babashka for like quick and dirty scripts. But yeah, this is to kind of make it stop complaining to me about HTTP kit for now. But yeah, it calls the closure CLI, gets the class path, and then calls portal main, and says, "Oh, this is Eden," just because I don't want to have to pass that in. And then I can take any Eden file, right? And now I have an Eden viewer, right? So that started up much quicker than if it was the JVM.
Nice. Okay.
Right. So it's like more of the same, but a little bit different. And all the same stuff works here, right? I can view it as a tree. I can view all these things. So yeah, that's kind of cool.
That's insane, man.
That's really
So you're inside of Babashka when you're doing that, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
is there any way to like do? I mean, this may be another interaction, but where you could say like, send the results of. I'm gonna read in a giant JSON, send it to portal, but wait for me to finish, because I'm gonna like select keys and do all this stuff before I send it back, right?
Yeah.
And so like you could then click a button and say, okay, send this back as the next value of deref or something, like it's a blocking deref, so that you could be like a person in the middle of a script.
Yes. So that's actually one of my future plans is to that's kind of why I have the pipe there, is my idea would be you start from some data, you cat it out, you pipe it to effectively what is portal, and then you pipe that to like HTTP,
there you go.
curl something, curl HTTP world, right? Just somewhere else.
Yeah.
So you can act as an intermediary, because like I want to kind of get more of these, right? This command palette, the hope is in the future it's like customizable user-wise, and it kind of like what I want to do like is have a lower barrier to entry for like script UIs that are more than what the terminal can give you. Does that kind of make sense? It's kind of like it's not implemented yet, but that's the idea.
Yeah, really nice.
Also, maybe this is a good time to. I have themes. I know someone likes Solarized Dark. I think it's Eric.
Looks like he stepped away. Yeah.
Oh, you did.
Yeah. So you're color coding all this stuff.
Yes, this is like it's all reagent components that pull from a theme object somewhere, and I can quickly swap it out. I got Solarized. So far I only have 3, which I'll show them right here. I have Solarized Dark, Solarized Light, and then Nord, which is just the default. And it's
was
really
there a library you used to do this, or did you write that code yourself to?
Well, since a lot of these.
Or was it just easy enough to do?
Yeah, it's the second one. Like since I'm writing all these components myself for the most part, okay. I can easily add easily defined themes. If I like come over
so
here.
It's like you're like you have some code that's going to display a string in a text box. You're like, okay, I know it's a string. I'm going to make it green or whatever color you make it. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And that's what the color scheme is if you look,
Okay.
I have all like text background. It's like syntax highlighting, right? Except for it's a bit better because I have the runtime types. Like it's not, I'm not doing regexes. I'm like, I literally have the data structure. It's been parsed. And right, I have like number, symbol, tag, namespace, keyword. I have all these and I have them for these 3. So it's really easy to kind of make it look the way you want. But yeah, this isn't user extensible yet, but it could be. I just haven't found the need to yet. So this is kind of cool.
It's I guess it's pull requestable.
Yeah, exactly. I think one of the things one of my coworkers wanted was the ability to kind of have like a dot file in their home directory. That might be another way to add extensibility. Is like you have a place where you can put your themes and then select the theme that you want, as opposed to the ones I've defined. So, but that's future work.
So if you were to display a namespace map in Portal, does it pull the namespaces out to the top or anything like that, or is it? How does it deal with that?
Let me open up my. I'm going to go out of these projects, and I'm going to go to like the namespace I work in when I'm deving Portal, which is my user namespace at the root, which is like right here. So I'll require it in. Right now I'm running a shadow dev server, and I'm connected via nREBL to it. So let me just make sure. So this is how I would use Portal. I would come over here. I'd call open. Right. So this is me connected to my dev guy, and I have this big, nice file or big example data set that I always use, and I think it might be what you see in the demo page. Yeah, I guess I should mention that.
Okay.
If you go to here, you can hit the demo link and kind of play with it too. Right, you can get all the same goodness, but this is with mocked canned data. What I've been showing you is like it running in your actual project, but so it's kind of the same data, except for you'll see here platform data is kind of different, right? In the browser, you kind of only have this type of data, whereas in a JVM you have like classes, you have binary data, you have exceptions. So, but this is kind of the like example data that I always have that I'm always interacting with.
What does an exception look like when you
yeah, I can show you that one. So this is kind of what it looks like. And this is using the datafied version of the exception. So it's actually data. So if I come over here and I go map, this is the datafied representation of the exception. And what I'm using is I'm using Clojure spec to match this shape and being like, that's an exception, or at least it looks like one, so I can treat it like one. So if anyone else can datafy something to this structure, which is like via a map and then trace of a list of vectors and a cause, right? If your Datify matches this shape, you can now use the exception viewer.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, so this is what it kind of looks like. It's like a little special viewer. And you can see that it's datafied because there's metadata on it that says, here's the original exception, here's the class, and then here's the other stuff. So I haven't shown you guys this yet up here. This is the metadata section where you'll see the metadata for the currently or the root value. Yeah. And when you datafy something, you get this metadata on it always.
And with exceptions, I guess you could, in theory, apply the kind of cleanup, messages like cause and x data and all this kind of stuff. You could make it look even nicer. Yeah.
This is kind of just like a first approximation, right? It's not super nice to look at, although you can kind of filter through it. Maybe if you have a file in mind, maybe. No, it doesn't work. Don't worry about it. Compiler? Hold up. Let me see if that works. I want to see if I can compiler. Oh, where's my key? Yeah. Oh, no. So it messes up because it doesn't match the shape anymore. So more future work.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's kind of what exceptions look like. There's some other things like, so I can datafy classes, right? I can take advantage of all the work that's in Clojure already to datafy classes, right? So this is what this class looks like. It has bases, flags, members, and then a name. So this is Datify in action right here. There's some other things like I kind of special case binary data to be like it's an image.
Class, do you get the docs or is it
you said like a function?
A method on a class.
You've got a class .io file.
Right, so this is a class.
So one of them is like to_URL, for example. If you click to that.
Let's go into. Well, so it's a symbol right there. If I go into here, it's if it's not part of the Datify for it, I don't know how I would get it.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, it's
right, because I didn't write this Datify. It could be that somebody could attach metadata on this symbol to say, give me the doc string on it, right? But like that would be up to the person who's writing Datify. Which I didn't write Datify for classes.
Okay.
But I would. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. It's just one
what
of these things
are the
which
6
is,
things in
kind
there?
of API, a nice API explorer
in here?
at that point, you know.
Parameter types, name,
declaring class.
It's like reflection stuff. Huh?
Yeah. Right. I think that's the implementation of Datify in Clojure for classes. Is it's exposing all the reflection. So
that's cool.
So just so you would also be quite nice to like. I find it slightly frustrating that I would quite like to have a little button that says just give me one level deeper so I don't have to navigate. You know.
Oh, no, and I'm like still like the UX I think is like definitely up for making it better. I think I use the tree view for that sometimes where I'm just like give me more. But yeah, I think it's like the UX is definitely up for improvement. I just don't know how to do things better yet, you know?
No, but I mean it's already excellent. I mean we're just throwing
So Chris, were you about to say you can display images if it like knows that it's a PNG or something like that?
So it does. It's kind of the only viewer I have for binary data right now is as an image. So I was like, this would break if it wasn't an image. So it's like a special case right now. But yeah, this is binary data. And if I go to the way to show you that, right, is if I come over here and I deref portal, you'll see that right there. Object B, right? I think that's how.
Array,
yeah. So it's literally the byte array for the image that I slurped up as bytes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I do want to add a hex viewer at some point, but again, it's like I haven't needed one yet, so I haven't added it. But if somebody wants to add it, that'd be cool too. Oh.
So were we going to see an image? Were you going to like render it? Is that part of what you were?
Oh no, this is the image rendered right here, right?
That's
an image.
Oh, that is
the
image. Okay.
Oh, I'm being tricked by your image that looks like Portal.
Oh yeah, let me do this. Let me change.
I thought it was going to be a picture of
there we go.
Of a dog looking at the sun or something.
No, this is meta. You gotta get Portal is like one level deeper.
I know. Yeah, definitely.
So take a screenshot of that and then put it in.
Oh man, then it's metal circular. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't even gotten into how I use Portal to dev Portal yet. Okay.
Oh man, I can imagine.
Yeah. So that's kind of some interesting platform type data exceptions. Files are I implemented a version of Datify for files right here. Right. When I see a file, I think maybe eventually Datify for files should be in Clojure or some library that we all share, but this is my datification right now. So if I click on this file right here, you'll see that it has a bunch of files because it's a
directory.
Yeah, right. So I can go deeper. Right, here's my package JSON. Right, and I can start to navigate the file system. Right.
Be all day. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Here's the change log. How do I see the content for it? Can I? I don't think I have that yet. Do I? Yeah, I think I removed it, but. So that's kind of cool, but that's showing off more of Datify. I do have an example that shows off nav kind of pretty well. If you guys want to see that?
Just a quick
do you have questions?
Side question actually, going back to deps.eden. Can you navigate to shars on the GitHub?
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Well, in deps.eden you often use a char in
for the version?
For a particular
like this right here?
Yeah. So can you go to GitHub via that? Via portal?
Oh. No, not yet. But actually that's a good idea of being like, oh, this thing, I understand that it represents this link to somewhere else. I could take you there. Yeah. I definitely think that would be kind of an interesting way to specialize on data, to be like, oh, we're in Clojure, we know that this represents something over there.
Yeah, it's got these
Let me click it and go over
so
there.
It must be a git char for Eden,
Yeah.
Because that would be.
Yeah, I think
because sometimes I when I'm doing it, sometimes you're just looking at a number, you don't quite know what the commit was,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I know that problem.
Yeah.
But I do. I do think that, so that would be work that you would do in the runtime via nav. So let me demo this example right here, which is I have the Hacker News API as data. So does that make sense?
Yeah, it gives you JSON and you just convert it to Eden.
Right. This is the API. When you hit this guy called Show Stories, like this is part of their API. It gives you a list of IDs, and when you click on that, he gives you a map, right? And what I'm doing is, and you can't see, but I'm hitting the internet, right? And I'm hitting these endpoints, which I guess is right here, right? Because I decorate this map with this metadata that says where I got this information. But right, so this is nav in action right now, where I'm navigating the Hacker News API via Portal. And none of this code is part of Portal. It's all outside of it. It's this function right here, this nav HN. That's where I implemented the nav protocol. So this is me, like, I guess this is a thing that's showing up right now. I'm going to go back to the Nord theme. It's too light. There we go. Right. But yeah, I guess these are all pieces of data that are, and like one of the things, and I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but I keep doing it. So you guys can tell me if it's not. These keys, when you nav into them, I just was like, well, I can return a doc string for them. That's kind of okay, right? It doesn't make sense to nav into a key in a map, I think, but I implemented it such that it did make sense.
I think it's a little jarring to lose the context of it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think the UX is all up in the air in terms of like how we could do things better. But I was like, this is good enough for now, because sometimes you have these keys and you're like, what does this key mean? Well, I guess kids is the ID of the items, comments, and the rank display, and I can go back and
cool.
I think that would be interesting if we could kind of, and I don't know how to do that yet, show parts like nav in without navving in,
I think that this is really awesome.
Thank you.
We're kind of getting close to the end of our time. So I want to make sure that I mean, this has been cool to get this tour, and so there's probably a lot of people out there who are also interested in helping out or using it. Just want to make sure that we get the from you, like what do you need? What's a good way for people to get started? Can you answer some of those questions?
Yeah. So those are excellent questions. Let me close this guy and go to right. So here's the repo. I think, like, you mean get started in terms of the code, or
if they want to use it, let's say just start using it.
Yeah. So I haven't pushed it up yet, but I guess I can push it up right now. Nope, that's the wrong one. Let's just close that. Right. So I added this commit of example projects, which I guess I'll push up right now. Origin master, which is
live commits, people.
Yeah. This is.
That's the way you hang.
Yeah. So let me refresh this.
The way you roll.
Right. So in here I have all these examples that I did. These are the examples I showed you, right? Where here's the Babashka script. Here's how you can use it for the JVM, right? Via either Project CLJ or via Deps Eden. Node is an example here. I also have a web example, which is kind of very similar to Node, but so I think that's a good place where you would want to bring into your project. If you just want to play with the UI, I would really like the demo is a great place. Like the Hacker News guy works in here too, in the actual demo. So that's where I say people could get started, is try out the demo, see if you like it, pull it into your project. It should be hopefully easy. If it's not, we can make it easier. But if you want to contribute, I think that, like, asking questions about like, why is this way? Getting into the code. The code's not perfect, but I hope it's easy to navigate. It's all Clojure, right? So I think that helps. But yeah. Also there's a Clojurian Slack. So if you have questions, hop in there, open up issues.
Great. Well,
cool.
I remember when I was chatting to Chris in the chat there, it was like, what do you want to do? Come on for 10 minutes, we'll ask a few questions.
Right.
An hour later. So, great job, Chris. I mean, you did a great job of demonstrating it here. And
Thank you.
I'm really impressed by the tool, I've got to say.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it too. So I hope people could enjoy using it. So.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Yeah.
I've got to buzz off personally, and I do the recording.
All right, well, let's call it
to stop. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So, should we close it?
Yeah.
Done.
Thanks
Well, I mean, this has been awesome. Thank you so much, Chris. If y'all out there, if you're out there interested in Portal, go check it out. I'm gonna check it out myself. I had not looked at it before. Just browse the GitHub repo, and I'm thinking like, whoa, wouldn't it be cool to add some features myself, like to some of the things I need to be doing. So I might do that. Also, if you're out there and you're on the YouTube, we have a Twitter channel. It's in the show notes, Twitter feed. That's where we announce when we're going live. We also announce it in the Discord. It's probably a better place to be. Get on the Discord. That's like a perpetual invitation link. You're all invited. Jump on in. And, we just chat and then announce that we're going live so you can be here. Like all these people, you don't see their faces. They're all listening to us live. We should be jealous.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah. Just want to let people know how it works, so that you know how to subscribe to YouTube channels. If you do that, you don't need us to remind you. But you would need to know, like, we're in Discord right now. And there are people listening right now, and they probably found out because they were in the Discord channel when we started, or maybe they went through the Twitter.
That's how I found out about it.
Channel. So it is a new Twitter. If you were already following our old Twitter, that one got banned or something.
Yeah, got locked out.
Ray was retweeting Trump or something, and it got
shut down.
And so now we had to make a new one, and there's going to be no retweeting. So follow that one, and that's where we'll announce that we're going live. Anything else we gotta say?
I think that's great.
No.
Thanks again, Chris, and
thank you, Chris.
See you in a few weeks.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.